Hi, everybody. This is Rhonda Cobb, the Money Coach. We have a great show in store for you. Our guest today is a board certified physician in physical medicine and rehabilitation, and he's also the founder and CEO of a medical cost savings and transparency company called Pratter, and he's the co-owner of a physician's medical billing company as well. But the really cool thing is he's going to tell you about this big event that happened in the last month or so in his life. So without too much further ado, and I don't want to be spoiling his big news, you know what I mean? I would like to introduce you to today's guest, Dr. Bill Hennessey. Dr. Bill, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me back, I should say, and happy Pratter Day.
Thank you. It is so awesome. I know as we go back and forth and we have the chance to have our dialogue on social media and email. It is so cool to watch how things are developing and stuff. So tell us, what is Pratter? And then after that, we'll go into the big news and the big experience that you had lately.
Well, Pratter, which means price matters, you put the two words together, it's trademarked. Pratter is a medical cost savings and transparency company. We believe that everyone deserves affordable access to medical care and that no one should ever get a surprise medical bill. So we're making it easy for working America to understand how to get good care at a great price.
Absolutely. And I, for one, can vouch because I have a client that got one of those surprise bills, and it was not only a doozy, it was a humdinger doozy, especially considering that it was about 2 years worth of this woman's income. And the first person I sent a message to was you. And you're like, oh, no, tell them this, this, and this. So I wrote them a letter and I told them this, this, and this. And you know what happened? That
The
bill,
bill went down.
it went down by a lot. And then I sent them another letter and said, oh, you must so seriously be mistaken. You forgot about this, this, and this. You know, do you need me to, carbon copy this letter to a couple of really key people that would have really pitched a fit over the way they had done things because they were totally out of line. And that was the end of that bill.
Well, I love stories with a great ending. And this is this kind of feel good that we don't hear enough about in the media. And I thank you for bringing it to light. I can tell you this. I want your listeners to absolutely get something out of this. All 5,700 hospitals in the United States, when they send out a medical bill, it's never itemized. In other words, just like we go to the grocery store and you get a list, the bill should be listed. Never, ever pay an unitemized bill. So we say the first step to saving money is to ask for an itemized bill, and that's done with the full name of every medical procedure that they want paid for. No abbreviations because, Rhonda, you're not a doctor. And next to each of those procedures should be the 5-digit billing codes. That's so when someone in our company or some other company helps you, that identifies exactly what was being billed. And that's the first step. Because
Absolutely.
right now there's intimidation and you just go to pay the bill because you don't want to be sent to collections.
And they
That intimidation needs to be out of the equation.
absolutely. And, quite frankly, from where I'm sitting, helping people, fix their credit and get their finances back on track, they're sending these medical bills to collection before the patient even has 30 days to dispute it or ask for a itemized bill. And I just think that should be totally against the rules. Maybe after 120 days, if they flat out refuse to even look at it, I could see it. But really, within 30 days, um, hello? They probably didn't even recover from the procedure in 30 days.
Well, hospitals are not allowed to do that if they are nonprofit hospitals, and that's by the tax code. A layperson will know that the hospital is nonprofit because its website will have
Org.
.org at the
Yep.
end, at the org at the end. And they have to give you, as a nonprofit, the opportunity to explain your financial circumstances. And perhaps, Rhonda, you're not wealthy enough to make a big payment, and they need to subsidize part of your care, or you pay it over a year or two. So they have to, as a nonprofit.org, give you a financial form to complete, and they have to consider your financial situation before they can send you to collections.
Well,
That's another good key.
my client would have definitely qualified for that if the whole bill hadn't been complete and total. Let's just use the F word where it belongs. Fraud.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Mm-hmm.
it was so frustrating. It's just, and she was just about ready to have a nervous breakdown. And I said, well, wait, hold the phone. This is not nervous breakdown territory. This is put on your let's fight back boots territory.
In the world of Pratter, we see, don't be bullied, be the bull.
I know, I love that saying. I love that saying. It's just so cool. I know. And it's just such a big deal because anytime people don't get to see what they're paying for, you run the risk of a padded bill. And it could be
Correct.
in any arena, not just healthcare. It's just that your specialized arena is healthcare. Tell our people more about how it works and how
Well,
hard you're working to make this easier for them.
well, given my clinical background, I understand that the average person out there that receives medical care only knows his or her doctor is in network. And then they really don't know where else they can get care, if it's blood work or an imaging study or surgery center care for upper or lower GI scope, or that they could have gone to an urgent care center instead of an emergency room. They just don't know how to find those other places that aren't their doctor for getting care. Pratter makes it very easy. We use Google markers. We have undercover called every blood work center, imaging center, surgery center, and urgent care center in the United States to eliminate all the shenanigans. And so, for example, urgent care centers, some of them use ER billing codes. They're just a doc in a box, as we say. One doctor in an office, and now is going to use an emergency room code when they're not even attached to a hospital. They don't make our money map. So we have the better priced providers in those four categories on Google markers, and all the urgent cares are yellow, all the blood works are red. And you can very quickly find who's in your carrier network. It doesn't matter if it's Blue Shield, United, Cigna, Aetna, Humana, or even some other ones. In 10 seconds or less, you can click and see the best price providers in all those categories wherever you're located at that moment on our app. Or you can call us, and we have medical billers, and they know medical money, and they will do the search for you. So those Google markers we call our money map. What most don't realize is that there's 1,000% pricing variation for the same care in the same network in the same city. Literally, $200 to $2,000 for the same care item. And Pratter is pointing out, if you go to these places, ballpark, you're going to spend $200 to $500 total. And we don't want you going to those other ones where it's $1,000 to $2,000. If affordable access to care is important for you, and only for routine care, because the real purpose of insurance is for catastrophes. You can still go anywhere you want for the catastrophe. That's really what we need insurance for. Not for routine care, but for catastrophes.
Right.
We do have a search engine, too, that we show you the price. We show you the charge, which is the retail amount if we're going mall shopping, and we show you the discount. And right now we show you what Medicare pays because we have 500 million Medicare claims searchable by test name and zip code. The two important things for that are, one, the pecking order from best to worst price for any test is going to be the same, whether it's Medicare or Blue Shield or Aetna, for example. And the second one is 80% of working America never meets its deductible. That means we pay for everything out of pocket.
Oh,
We're now
Lord.
consumers. So now what we do is we say, you know what? You have to pay more than Medicare, or else it's fraud for the medical provider. The taxpayer dollar is best advantage. So you got the Medicare price. We say add 10% to that, offer to pay cash, and most places will take that, especially the ones that are not hospitals, those independent surgery centers, independent blood work centers, independent urgent care centers. They will take that most of the time. And you just got a deal that's way better than an insurance company discount off of a very high retail price.
Absolutely. And I don't mind just saying that it seems like those retail prices are artificially high.
For the most part, you are correct, Rhonda. Now, why do they increase? Why do the hospitals increase those prices every year? The answer is because somebody's paying them.
Well, not only that, but if you look at the world of nonprofit accounting, if they say this procedure costs $100,000, but the patient negotiated and they only paid $50,000, they get to take that $50,000 as a write-off, as a discount given, whereas a for-profit company doesn't get to do that because they have cash-based accounting. So the hospitals really do benefit in two ways from that. If you get into it, if I'm wrong, some CPA will call me and tell me I just screwed that up, and that'll be okay. Then I'll know. But anyway, but yeah, now tell us what happened to you here. Wasn't that long ago, maybe a month or so ago?
No, I think you're speaking about June 24th.
Okay, so it was just a little bit more than a month ago. And wasn't there something, big going on in your life there in a nice little city called Washington, D.C.?
Well, yeah, the people in Washington, D.C., I actually invited, I'm going to say some really good people that I got to meet in the White House as a medical cost transparency company CEO. I was invited to the White House for the signing of the executive order on medical cost transparency by our country's CEO, President Trump. And I'll admit that was fun. And I actually knew a few other people that were there. And there were some absolutely brilliant and motivated minds who want to solve the healthcare pricing crisis. We don't have a healthcare crisis. We have a healthcare pricing crisis.
Yes. Yes, we do. And it's too bad. And it's just, it's like this big spider web that somebody needs to take a broom to.
Well, it's got to be made easier to understand. And this executive order has several key points for which different parts of the government are going to be creating solution, of which some of it is legislation. And I do think we're going to see some form of a Healthcare Consumer Protection Act in 2020. And I have contributed my knowledge to that, and we're letting the legislators do what they do.
Oh, good. That is so cool. So what else was in this medical costs and quality transparency order since you were there? I mean, come on.
Well, again,